Explaining football to the friend who's just there for the nachos? Hard. Tailgating from home like a pro with snacks and drinks everyone will love? An easy win. And with Instacart helping deliver the snack time MVPs to your door, you're ready for the game in as fast as 30 minutes. So you never miss a play or lose your seat on the couch or have to go head-to-head for the last chicken wing. Shop Game Day Faves on Instacart and enjoy $0 delivery fees on your first 3 grocery orders. Offer valid for a limited time. Other fees and terms apply.
It's better over here.
AT&T customers, switching to T-Mobile has never been easier. We'll pay off your existing phone and give you a new one free, all on America's largest 5G network. Visit T-Mobile.com/carrier freedom to switch today.
Pay off up to $650 via virtual prepaid MasterCard in 15 days. Free phone up to $830 via 24 monthly bill credits plus tax. Qualifying port-in, trade-in service on Go 5G Next and credit required. Contact us before canceling entire account to continue bill credits or credit stop and balance and required finance agreement is due.
Hey, Prime members, have you heard? You can listen to your favorite podcasts ad-free? Good news! With Amazon Music, you have access to the largest catalog of ad-free top podcasts included with your Prime membership. To start listening, download the Amazon Music app for free or go to amazon.com/ad-free podcast. That's amazon.com/ad-free podcast to catch up on the latest episodes without the ads.
Okay, I'm surprised that I'm not in a black veil right now because Uptown Pizzeria in Hoboken, New Jersey, which my boyfriend eats at, I want to say 3 times a week, if not more, is closing. I found this out 25 minutes ago. It is bleak in here, okay?
Wow.
It is a devastating blow has been brought to my family, and we are struggling.
Yeah. I mean, I assume that's major where you are, considering Beyonce just dropped a new album and that's what we're leading with?
Yeah.
This fucking pizza place in Jersey?
Just know that Hassan is devastated.
Is someone dead at the pizza place?
No.
All right. Well.
It's devastating, though. Please think of me in your thoughts and prayers. Thank you.
Thoughts and prayers to you and Hassan. What's the name of the place? Uptown Pizzeria?
Uptown Pizzeria.
They are the sponsor then automatically of this week's
Absolutely.
episode. I want to give a proper update about the Diddy story, but I'm telling you that I cannot in recent memory remember a scandal that has splintered off into so many directions as this one. I feel like the update for us should be it's over for him completely. People are coming out of every ounce of woodwork to talk about all sorts of shit. I mean, raping children, cheating at Yahtzee, you name it. He has been accused of all of it this week.
And video, Hassan was reading the whole indictment thing and was sending me screenshots of the official court documents where they have video evidence of A-list celebrities fondling random people.
Wow.
Yeah, no, it's really bad.
Who are the other A-list celebrities?
It's all alleged and obscure, but there's many. It's this person who performed at the Super Bowl and is a R&B star.
Mm-hmm,
wink. This person that may have been in the movie Radio. Do you know what I mean?
That sounds like Kathy Bates. It does. It's definitely Kathy Bates.
And again, allegedly, because it's but there's video screenshots and shit. This isn't Lizzo. This isn't, we'll get to Lizzo, but this isn't Shirlene Squiggly being God, you know what I mean? Alleged. It's squiggly for me. It's not her and Shirlene doing A, B, and C, and that's he said, she said. This is here's a video of someone being assaulted. Here you go.
I mean, this story is going to get much bigger.
Way bigger.
And people are saying J-Lo is going to be pulled back into this because of the shooting from 20 years ago, that this all ties together. All of it connects.
This is Harvey Weinstein all over again. Not
it's beyond that.
It's every person in Hollywood is shaking in their little boots. For real.
It's beyond that. Diddy kidnapped the Lindbergh baby. He shot JFK. He killed Nicole Brown Simpson. Like, he's been accused of every
single thing
unanswered crime in recent memory. This is it for him. It is.
Yes.
I just don't even know. This is absolutely the scandal of the year.
Too serious for us to even like make that many jokes about, because it's so appalling and horrifying. Like, it's not even funny anymore because it's so bad.
It is so beyond the scope of
what we're capable of. If you go to the New York Post,
here, there's a new story about it, like a whole new avenue hourly in the story if you're following it online. Because last week everyone was like, well, the federal government raided 3 of his homes. Isn't that a little extraneous? Well, in the days that have followed, here are the reasons why it wasn't extraneous.
Yowza, as I say.
Yeah.
Oof. I mean, it's like we could talk about it for 9,000 years, but like, it's why, like, developing story for the rest of the year, in my opinion.
Well, I'm going to hopscotch around this list. We have several major stories to discuss this week. What I'm putting next here is, of course, Gypsy Rose Blanchard has separated from her husband, who just recently, after she got out of jail, this gentleman was described as having a D that was fire. Well, that fire has gone out, and Gypsy Rose and her husband are no longer together, apparently.
God bless America.
Are you going to do the version where someone screams, "Let's get loud" in the middle of it?
Stand beside.
I mean,
and guide her.
Everyone is sending me that
Let's
meme.
Get loud. I'm so excited that she is single. She needs a reality show as soon as humanly possible. If there are not cameras there already, I need her snooking for love yesterday, people.
How is she? No, class it up. How is she not the next Bachelorette?
No. I refuse to put her into that machine. She needs a show all by herself where she is straight up like speed. Remember like Blind Date, like, or like Eliminate. Like, she needs her own version where every episode is just like, you date her. It needs to be
like Gypsy that MTV show Next.
Yes.
Where all these people.
And it's just always Gypsy. Like,
I hated that show.
It was the best. What do you mean? If they put that on today, they always are like, oh, how can we get like people that are 30 like to watch MTV? I'm like, do Room Raiders again. Do Next. Oh, this is my pitch for them. What am I fucking saying? I already said this on this podcast. Just do all of that. I need her dating on camera now. I demand it. Like, I want it so badly, Dominic. I want it so badly.
How many people sent you the meme of her holding hands with Pete Davidson?
Too many. Can you imagine? I would love it.
Meme of the year. I mean, she got married too soon. That's it. You got to live with someone first.
She was in prison.
Yeah.
She wasn't walking this earth. Like, she was like incarcerated when they got married. Of course. And P.S. he was like, oh, I love that you're famous and like a freak. And then she met him in person, was like, oh God, what? And now
he'll do fine though. Cause we all know about that D. We all know about it. Well, I might write him a letter.
Yeah.
What's his name? Mr. Rose?
I have
Mr.
No idea.
Gypsy?
Mr. Blanchard.
Send me those X pics.
He'll be fine, but desperately, I need just cameras on her. I don't know what it's for.
You're trying to trash her up. I want to put her in the south of France, and you want her to do like a shot at love with Tila.
100%. 1 million. Yes.
You're trying to get her beat up. I'm trying to put her in a stable home.
Rosing for love. Like any of I need her dating yesterday.
What about a version of The Bachelorette, which is just all fantasy suites? So Gypsy has to have sex with all of the contestants the moment she meets them.
That's terrible. That
I'll do. That's sort of more what you want, but I think it's a good compromise.
No, I just want to, she needs to be on reality television today. She was like, okay, I'm done. Bye. See you never. And I'm like, nope. Like, we need you. You are the new, like, Tiffany Pollard. Like, we need you on TV.
Lizzo has stated on Instagram that she is quitting music. Do we think this is just a well-deserved tantrum, or is she done?
I think it's a well-deserved tantrum. Well, some people were saying that there was like, she was saying like, I don't know if the world wants me anymore, which is like very alarming and makes me scared, which is like serious. I think it's hard because like the only frame of reference I have for this is Doja Cat, who every like year and a half is like, I'm done with music, and then puts out an album like the next month. So like,
I thought she was done with whatever her current face was annually. I didn't know that she said that about music.
And like Doja Cat every year is complaining that she's quitting music, and then there's a new album and the new song that takes over TikTok. So like, that's all I have kind of to frame of reference. However, it didn't help that then the next, like 3 days later, aka today, aka Monday, she then put out a humongous ad for like bathing suits in her like swimwear
she's
line.
Just doing fashion now.
So like,
of music.
Sure. But it's just like hard to be like, please be nice to me. And also here's a new.
She'll take it down. Everyone's alive. I don't mind when celebrities do that. Like, cause I feel like people do that in real life as well. They are still human beings. And
for sure,
they're just like, I quit, I'm leaving. And then they don't. I think it makes them more human to me.
Yeah.
I don't feel like she's an idiot. I feel like she's an actual person.
No, you're correct. But it's just also like, oh, and then you just put up an ad. Like now that everyone has eyeballs on you, you like put up an ad for like a bathing suit line. So like,
right.
Okay. Like
Lizzo is an actual person. Here's the name of a new celebrity who's not an actual person, but who used to be an actual person.
Oh,
a woman named Xilq Maria River Red.
And maybe you've heard of her because on this edition of Britney Watch.
Oh, baby. Hey, y'all. Britney Spears has changed her name to Xilq Maria River Red.
Getting that tattooed on my back. Yeah.
And has started boasting that since she...
You can't even talk.
I can't say it. This situation makes Hilaria Baldwin look like a fucking Rhodes Scholar. Yeah. She said that since she changed her name to Xilq Maria River Red, she's had some difficulty understanding English. Oh, Britney.
Well, this reminds me of when she was in Crossroads and then she was like stuck in that character for like years. And she like couldn't get out of it. And now I'm like, fuck. Like, I know this is real. And I know that she's like actually imprisoned by this name. And it's really scary.
I would like to say that we received an idea this week from a loyal listener named Elaine Feliciano, who became aware that Britney had given a 5 typewritten page summary of her vacation on her Instagram page. Elaine has made a special request that I read the summary of the vacation in fluent Hey Y'all, which we will do as a 5-part series. I cannot read all 5 pages of this. But at the end of the Pre-Fixe, we will read page 1 of the summary of my trip by the artist formerly known as Britney Spears, currently known as Xilq Maria River Red, as we move on with today's news. News. Did I say nudes?
I mean, you were thinking of Xilq.
Folks, obviously, the whole world is revolving around a little LP called Cowboy Carter. I met up with Christopher Michael DeRosa for cocktails on Friday. And when I tell you that he was dressed as Cowboy Carter, I'm not fucking kidding. I am not fucking kidding. He was...
This is Texas.
Please go to the Fixing Famous People page to see Chris's outfit from Friday. He truly is a Beyonce fan, a true fan.
Did I tell you that someone was like, oh, the duplex? I thought that was one of your homes. Like someone thought that when we say that we go to the duplex, that was like one of our houses and not a bar.
I mean, technically,
it is your home, actually. You know every single person there. So
yeah, it is sort of my residence.
Anywho.
We should talk about a major event that happened in your life other than the closing of your local pizzeria. I believe there was a superstar shooting something just mere feet from your home.
So much has happened. So much has happened that this is like, oh my God. Guys, Jennifer Lopez is shooting a movie on my block.
Wait, she's still shooting it?
I think so.
Oh my God. Wait, have you seen her in the flesh?
Dominic, I've not seen her in the fresh. Are you aware of what movie it is a remake of?
I'm not.
I'm glad that you're sitting down for this. She is going to be in a remake.
But I want you to know that I don't know what the movie is, but if you're about to say Moonstruck, I'm going to...
Oh God, Dominic, I would have... No, are you kidding me? I could never have held this from you.
I would have said goodbye to my family and gone to that set with a weapon. Go ahead.
Yeah, she is redoing Kiss of the Spider Woman.
Oh my God, that's right. That's right. They're doing the musical.
She truly, clitorally was a block away from my house shooting this film. Like, as I was saying, like, Dominic, should we go to her concert? She was like walking around my front door, probably like going to set.
Wow. I don't know why you're not up at 4 a.m, camped out there with some paparazzi gear, begging her to listen to us roast her every week on this podcast.
I mean, if this isn't proof that we are, and get ready for this word, inextricably linked to Jennifer Lopez, like, I mean, if this isn't a sign that we have to go to her concert in August, I don't know what is.
I mean, I wonder, I guess they're shooting some of the flashback scene. Kiss of the Spider Woman is a wonderful story. I love the movie. I loved the musical, which I did see with Chita Rivera. She won a Tony for that. I then also saw it with Vanessa Williams, who did a bang up job as well. I am curious to see how she turns this into some sort of Madonna as a Vita moment, because she's going to make it her own and people are going to like it. And a lot of people are not. And then we'll see how it goes.
And Vanessa Williams, not to be confused with Vanessa Hudgens, which famously was slammed beyond belief in J-Lo's movie, The Greatest Love Story Never Told.
Correct. Now, if you are a person who has mistaken Vanessa Hudgens for Vanessa Williams, I want you to DM Zila Maria Red. And the two of you should share a therapist, period.
I am nervous for Britney, Zila.
Yeah.
Like, this is bad again. Like, the prayer chain needs to come back up, I think. I still do it at noon Eastern time every day. My phone alarm still goes off. I think we got to get back in there, people. Like, because this is bad.
It worked the last time. To be honest, since you've stopped the prayer chain, her life has gotten increasingly chaotic.
Yeah. Like, we got to get in there, I think, again. Because, like, we're seconds away from a Knives video. Like, seconds away. So we need to pop it back up, get the prayer chain back going, and send me your alarms at noon Eastern time that you're like, you know, I need to see some screenshots because we got to get back in there for our girl.
Here's something that needs to sound an alarm. The Golden Bachelor, I am referring, of course, to Jerry, not myself. The Golden Bachelor and his wife, Teresa, are living separately.
Of course. Are you kidding me? Of course they are.
But they are saying that nothing is wrong. It's just that she lives in Jersey. She still works. He lives in Indiana. Both of their families live there. They just haven't figured it out. And so they have an elderly and long distance marriage.
How much money do you think they're paying them to stay together for a year?
I don't know. I don't even know if that's part of it. It very well could be, but I don't know.
That's like 100% what I think.
I don't know. Would they bring him back? Would they try to marry him off again?
No, God, no.
Because there was too much controversy with
and just like,
because it turned out he was a whore.
Get a new person, and we need a girl. We need a woman in there. We need a bachelorette. One of the ladies. Like, we know what we need to be doing. So if they're not doing that, then that's really a problem. But no, I think they're good to go. They're good to go. But like, in a year, get ready. 5 months from now, they're donezo when the money runs out.
I don't know if you are aware of this, Chris, but a mystery has been solved. We say "Where's Shelley" at the end of every one of these episodes. We added "Where is Eva Mendes?"
Well, recently. And now we need to add, we have another one to add also. We have to circle back to Cowboy Carter, but continue.
Well, no, Eva Mendes has
surfaced,
been found. Yes, she gave an interview. She was on the Today Show, and she said they had a mutual understanding that she would give up her acting career to stay home with their children. Quote, it was almost just like a nonverbal agreement that was like, okay, he's going to work and I'm going to work. I'm just going to work here. I mean, essentially, because raising the kids is now her job. There didn't seem to be any resentment or man shaming or anything like that. It was just sort of, that was their deal. I don't know that she talked about why she doesn't go to any of the red carpets or anything like that, but I would assume it's because she is just home with the kids. And for her, that's on period, really. She doesn't seem bothered by
I like this. I like her just admitting, like, well, not for nothing. He's like an A-list plus celebrity. Like, he's like the top of the A-list. And like one of the
absolutely
the biggest actors like of our time. So like, and she's not like, not to slam her, but she just isn't. She never has had the fame that he has. Like, and so it's like, makes perfect sense that he was like raking in the fucking money. And she's like, I want to, and P.S., that's a gift to be able to be like, oh, I don't need to have a job because my husband makes so much money that I can just stay home and be with my kids that I'd like want to raise myself.
Sure.
With 17 nannies, I'm sure. But like, that is actually like very nice. And I like that she admitted it.
Well, one mystery solved.
And that she listens to this podcast and knows that we said, where's Diva Mendez?
And it's not a coincidence that she popped up 48 hours later on the Today Show.
Just saying.
We basically cold cased her out of hiding.
It's horrible.
For fans of Euphoria, the news is not very good. It looks like season 3 is going to be further delayed. There are many different. Now the latest thing is the showrunners are saying they're giving the cast time to pursue other opportunities. So the rumor is when and if it comes back, they're going to be aged up. What I have to say about Euphoria is that the longer that it's off television, the lower the suicide rate will probably be, because good Lord, that's the least inspirational show you should be showing children.
I will say, well, not for nothing. It's like actually an adult show. Like my joke was always that like there was like a trigger warning at the beginning of the show. And I was like, oh yeah, that's because like kids are watching this. I was like, no, that was for me, a 33-year-old adult man. Like that trigger warning was absolutely for me.
I don't feel like I'm old enough to watch that show.
No, for sure. And the other thing, you know what, this is, and now I'm putting on my tinfoil hat as a conspiracy theorist, but like, I bet you there's so much fucking shit in the back. Like that creator guy was like, there's so many stories of how he mistreated people. And I bet you it's like, and again, this is truly my opinion, allegedly, not at all, zero proof of this at all. But I bet you that they're like, we're not fucking filming with him anymore. I bet you that like Zendaya and all them are like, fuck him. I bet you it's a standoff with the.
I'm sure that's part of it, because in concert with that, several of the people on that cast are worldwide stars now, bigger than they were before.
100%.
Hosting SNL, Blockbuster. I mean, Zendaya is like
all that we have. Zendaya is like all that we like. She's, in my opinion, her and.
So wait, you say she's all that we have?
No, but I'm saying like in not all that we have, but like for this generation, like her, Timothée Chalamet, and like
they sit atop the iron
maybe
throne.
Jacob Elordi. Like
no
they're the three that are like, these people will become like Brad and Angelina. Like they will be like huge celebrities forever. Like other than that, look, Sydney Sweeney, humongous star, knew she would be. Minute I saw her on, what was it? Sharp Objects. I was like, that girl's a really fucking good actress. Who else is on it that's really good? Oh, Zendaya, Jacob Elordi, Sydney Sweeney, all the people on it. Hunter Schafer's like a humongous celebrity now. They're all like humongous celebs in their own right. And are
they might not be able to even afford to get all these people.
And like movie stars now. Right. Movie stars. Yeah. This is like the Rihanna album. We're going to be waiting forever for that.
I think you might be. Well, they have suggested already that when it comes back, it would take a time jump. It's not just going to be sophomore year forever for these freaks in Euphoria. Well, speaking of nosedives, Tori Spelling has finally and officially filed for divorce from Dean McDermott.
Dare you?
Just a few days ago, they were spotted in Los Angeles at a storage unit, and she was hysterically crying. And so it was, I guess everyone knew the end was sort of near. And now apparently it was just happened this week where she's finally filed for divorce. They've been separated for quite some time. And she is really not holding back about it. She said on her Misspelling podcast that she had been telling herself that she wanted to divorce Dean McDermott for like 15 years. They were together for 18.
Dominic, you know, I read her memoir called Storytelling, spelled S-T-O-R-I. So
it's
amazing.
Brilliant.
That came out in 2008. Obviously, we read it for Chelsea Devantez's what once was called Celebrity Book Club and now Grandma's Trash podcast. for the book club, online book club. And when I tell you in the book in 2008, she was like, basically telling me that he treated her like absolute garbage and was like, that's my husband. Like, I could have told you when I was 18 years old that they were going to get a divorce. Like, it's wild to me that they have been married this long.
Speaking of strange relationships, you heard about the conjoined twins, Abby and Britney Hensel. And apparently one of them secretly got married in 2021. Now, secretly meaning secretly from the public, obviously not secretly from the twin to whom she is attached. But these people, you might remember them. They had a series on TLC.
Were they on Oprah
a while ago? I'm certain they were. They are.
Right.
They each control one arm and one leg.
Yeah.
And they have separate heart and lungs, but they share almost everything below that. And so if you're facing them, the twin, Abby, who's on the left-hand side, got married in 2021. So I am curious about this whole situation. So the other twin can marry anyone she wants as well.
Listen, there's a lid for every pot. I'm just going to say it. Okay?
Yeah. I mean,
wild.
I think we're all asking the real question is like,
what's the deal?
They only have one set of, shall we say, reproductive organs, but there's the two of them.
I know.
That sounds like a therapy bill that my insurance would not cover. I just don't know. I think they'd be, I just don't think so.
It's so wild. It's wild to think. And they're very like a very unique case. So the's like no.
Yeah. Who would you
The husband looks a little bit like a better version of fucking G-Rose's guy.
He actually does.
Like a cute, and like he looks like a very nice man, but like.
He really does.
Imagine being the one that's not married and being like, whenever the two are like fighting or they're whatever, and she's like, oh, like get a load of this one. You know what I mean? Like when she, like, do you know what I mean?
But
like,
imagine you're the one who's not married, but you're sharing an organ and you have to, what if you don't like the guy? What if you don't like your sister's husband, but you have to lay in bed with him every night?
I know. That's
good
really.
Lord. I mean, they just live a different life. Like whatever, it seems like incalculable to us, but to them it is just a Tuesday at noon. That's it. So no judgments, but curious. Oh yes, honey. I have more questions than you could fit in an encyclopedia.
Why aren't they need to go on like The View or something. Why aren't they on a talk show?
I don't know that I'd subject them to that.
They were on, no, not that.
They should be in a calmer environment.
No, you're right.
I'd be afraid to go on The View today.
You're right. You're absolutely right. But no, they were definitely on Oprah, and I remember vividly watching them. This is not the conjoined twins that were conjoined at the head. That was also an Oprah
that's
episode
Lori and Dory, who were then also known as Lori and Reba because she became a country singer and then came out as trans, and now they're known as Lori and George.
Wait, really?
Now, I used to have many questions about those twins, but now I'm like, you know what? I'm going to leave you alone.
Yeah, move them right to the side.
Yeah. Just like respectfully.
Out of here. Yeah.
Respectfully, I'm like, go work your shit out. I have no further questions, Your Honor. Good luck with everything.
You know what's crazy too is that like, okay, this is horrible, but like because they're right, their like heads are right next to each other. They never like look at each other.
You mean like in the eye? They probably can't. Yeah.
They like have to look in the mirror.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Imagine imagine that being your life. Well, they don't know anything else, but like, and the person is always right next to you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not like you're like, oh, I can see you and we can like make eye contact and like figure out things like.
Right. Like when you're sleeping in bed with them, you can't be like, you're hot, move away from me. You just, you can't.
It's crazy. I mean, good for them though. Or one of them.
Or both. I mean, they're both. I don't even want to speculate, but I do. I'm just going to come out and say it. Andrew Garfield is dating a witch. Have you heard about this? I guess 2 months ago, I am, by the way, in love with Andrew Garfield from tip to tail. He was seen making out with some Sports Illustrated model. Now,
I'm sure
he's been seen going on double dates with Bo Burnham and his partner, and this woman who identifies on TikTok as a professional witch. She does mystical things. I'm assuming spells fall under that. I don't know. I just want better for him. That's all.
To quote,
nothing against a witch. I just don't know that they're suited for each other.
To quote living icon Miss Wendy Williams, they're just trying to convince me that they're into her.
Oh,
if you know what I mean. And I think you do.
I don't know.
How you doing, Andrew Garfield? That's all. That's all.
Oh, I
Moving
wish.
right along.
I wish. You know what? I think that he probably has a favorite sport, but would play any sport, if you know what I mean. You know what I mean? Like,
Sure.
I don't think he'd play it every day, but I think that he's probably he comes off as quite fluid to me. I'm also an elderly gay man who thinks everyone is gay, so I would say that automatically. But I wouldn't be surprised if he was. Not only that, I would probably camp outside his house if I found out he was and say, pick me. I'd go to jail for Andrew Garfield if necessary. A little programming. It's not a programming note, but next week I will have some fun announcements on this very broadcast.
Oh.
Yes, you don't even know about this, Christopher.
I don't even know
Michael.
about this. I don't like when you blindside me like this.
It's funny that you say The Blind Side because it is an announcement of my one-man production of The Blind Side. I will be playing all of the roles at an off-Broadway theater to be announced.
An idiot.
All races, all genders, all annoying. It's me, and it's just 90 minutes.
You mean you're going to be playing the titular character originated by Bird Box's Sandra Bullock?
Yes. Bird Box's Sandra Bullock.
From Bird Box.
I am going to do a Pride show in New York City this June. Date and location and fun stuff to be announced next week. And I'm also, and I don't know if you are even aware of this because I almost wasn't aware of it. I'm going to be on a television show starting April 18th. I'll be appearing on it mildly every week. It is not comedy. It is part of my day job. Comedy is the gay job. But I will give you more details. It debuts on April 18th, and it just sort of took me by surprise.
Dominic,
and
my
it's been a lot
popcorn
of
is
fun.
ready.
It's quite serious and nothing to do with this podcast. It's just my day job as a television producer and being filmed doing that will be part of this show that I'm going to be on.
Can't wait.
for
And
9 or 10 weeks.
I think that our listeners are going to be so excited. I can't wait to announce
I
it.
think
so
they
we
will
can-
be as well.
Yes.
And I hope that they are. It's just something that I wasn't expecting that came up, and it's just been a lot of fun, and that I will share with you next week. The only other thing I have to say before I read this first chapter of Britney's Vacation is that Barron Trump is 6'7". Have you seen this child?
If you showed me a picture of him, I'm not sure if I could say that I knew it was him. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I bet you would know it was him. Well, now that you know his height, you probably would because he's very tall, but he looks Trumpy. He has like
But
a
I
Trumpy.
think of him as like a little boy.
He's not. He's 18
But
years
then I'm
old.
also confusing him with Baron Hilton.
Oh, you won't. Barron Hilton, not my cup of tea. I mean, neither is Barron Trump. I don't know what I'm saying, but
but
I feel like Barron Trump is an innocent caught in a web of deceit. Barron Hilton is just to me like a dirtbag.
yeah.
We will be fixing today one Todd Chrisley. So please stay tuned for the fix after this short break. And of course,
And this dramatic reading.
this dramatic reading in Hey Y'all of page 1 of the summary of my trip by Zila Maria River Red.
I shouldn't be laughing at this because I'm like so nervous she's going to die.
She's not going to die. She's not
No.
going to die. Not
Okay.
please. After she hears this reading, she's going to want to live. This
Okay.
is the first in a 5-part series. I'm not going to scream myself hoarse, only because I wake up hoarse every day, no matter what. But please know that every one of these lines, every one of them ends with 3 exclamation points. Every one of them. Summary of my trip. Going to the gym is never what it seems. I say I'm going to go hard, but I always walk for 20 minutes and do 100 sit-ups and leave. This time I chewed gum and was shocked at how short I looked in the mirror. Riding bikes with my friend honestly seemed like a great idea, but I went too far and got lost. When finding my way back, I went to play tennis. I thought I lost my phone, but it was under a ladder. I know a lot of people make fun of me, And that's the end of chapter 1 of the summary of my vacation with what could be the worst Britney Spears impersonation that has ever been recorded.
No, it's morphed into like almost a Paula Deen world. Like
to me, they're now the same person.
No, I know. It's like there was a lot of Paula Deen undertones happening in that one.
Yep. Thank you, Xilq. All right, prayers up, and let's get into the fix.
This episode is brought to you by Huggies Little Movers. Huggies knows that babies come in all shapes and sizes, and their tushies do too. Huggies has more curves and outstanding active fit. Parents know that there's nothing worse than an ill-fitting diaper, especially for active wiggly babies. Huggies Little Movers are curved to fit all curves, so babies feel comfy no matter how much they're moving around. And we all know they're moving around a lot. They also offer 12-hour protection against leaks, which is a game changer. Get your baby's butt into the best fitting diaper. Huggies Little Movers. We got you, baby.
Are you struggling to close deals? Cold outreach is wasting the time of both the buyer and seller at every stage, especially when sellers are using shallow and outdated data. Your organization can overcome these challenges with technology that translates comprehensive, high-quality buyer data into real-time insights. These deeper insights empower sales reps and teams to adopt the habits of top performers, which leads to better outcomes, like more pipeline, higher win rates, and larger deals. We call this deep sales. And we've built the first deep sales platform with the next generation of LinkedIn Sales Navigator. Right now, you can try LinkedIn Sales Navigator and get a 60-day free trial at linkedin.com/trial. That's linkedin.com/trial for a 60-day free trial. Let LinkedIn Sales Navigator help you sell like a superstar today. Just go to linkedin.com/trial and get started.
You know her from the wildly famous podcast, the Pink Shade Podcast. It's Mary Payne Gilbert. Thank you for being with us.
Wildly famous?
I see your podcast everywhere.
Oh my God.
It's all over the place. So
oh my God.
It's famous to me. If to no one else, it's famous to me. So there you go.
Okay. I'll take one fan. No, thank you very much. I'm so excited to be here because we have our mutual friend, Kate Casey.
We sure do.
She was very excited I was coming on to talk to you guys.
Oh,
She's the best.
I'm ready to fix. I'm ready to fix people. Let's do it.
Okay. Tell us a little bit, for the two people that listen to this podcast that don't listen to yours, tell us everything about the Pink Shade Pod.
Okay. Over on Pink Shade, we cover reality shows. So basically, we're like in that 90-day world, Love After Lockup. We get real down and dirty with the Plath family. We get in with Seeking Sister Wives. And then on Thursdays, I bring it back around and keep it a little more highbrow with Bravo.
Okay.
That's what I do. So just you name a show, I'm covering it. Yeah, it's a lot.
It's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
That is. Okay. So, I mean, if anyone's going to fix the Chrisleys, it's you, honestly.
Listen, I'm Southern. I know about these people. I know about these Southern people. So hopefully my Southern sensibilities will help fix them. As it got on longer and longer and the fakeness of it, and it was so like grandma would walk in the kitchen and make a funny quip. You know, I was like, all right, stop with this bullshit, this fakeness. I mean, listen, I understand that a lot of reality TV is fake. I cover a lot of it. But the whole like mom and dad are in the bed trying to like have some nookie and the sun comes and jumps in the middle of them.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. Nobody's buying that. Mm-mm.
Oh, God.
On this podcast, right at the top, before we start diving in deep, we asked Chris DeRosa and our guest, who this week is Mary Payne, what is your guess for the middle name of the person we're fixing? And if you already know the middle name, please be honest about it and we'll continue our game in another way. But please give your guesses for what is Todd Chrisley's middle name.
Okay. It's not Jebediah, but it's like something like that.
I bet his middle name is Todd. I bet his name is like Jonathan Todd Chrisley.
I think it's Todd Jebediah Chrisley.
This is the first time in the history of this podcast that someone has gotten it 100% right. Mary Payne.
No.
Todd Chrisley's actual name is Michael Todd Chrisley. You are the winner of the first ever winner of the middle name game. First ever. We are so unprepared
I know
this
Southern
moment.
names.
We're so unprepared for this
God.
moment that the prize is just us looking shocked.
Truly, every week we're like, we're never going to get this. We're never going to get this. We need to give you an award. I don't know what it is, but it's something.
Okay. But listen, I'm telling you, I know Southern people, and Todd would never be a first name. Todd would always be a middle name.
A second
so that's
name.
Interesting.
Todd doesn't go as a first name. Mm-mm.
Interesting.
Oh, wow.
I love your southern
Wowie,
powers of
wow,
deduction.
Dominick.
Do you see what I did there? I did a southern accent for everybody.
That was great. That was perfect.
God,
No, you
wow.
were perfect. Literally,
How do we
literally
continue?
perfect.
Okay, here's what happened with the Chrisleys. In 2012, Todd Chrisley declared bankruptcy of about $50 million in 2012.
Okay, I remember this.
Okay, in 2014 is when he got his show.
No. Oh my God.
So when he goes on his show and is like, we spend $300,000 a month in clothes. Look at my closet. Look at my beautiful wife, Julie's closet. Look at my beautiful daughter, Savannah. She's Miss Teen Tennessee. All this, he had 2 years prior gotten $20 million of that relieved by a judge. And then he went on TV and bragged about how much money he had. So that wasn't off to a good start.
But you know what? I don't remember that being like drama. Like, I don't remember people being like, oh, you were in bankruptcy 2 years ago.
No, because it was a simpler time. People didn't Google things as they do now. I do remember when the show came out, people said, like, are these people as rich as they say they are?
That they are. And guess what? The answer is always no.
Always no. Always no.
Right.
People love to go on TV and commit tax fraud. Love.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how they started. And was a real estate developer or something. He's never been a preacher. I don't know where you got that from.
That's because I'm from the North. And so everyone with a Southern accent that's like a little, like looks a little flamboyant, I always think is a preacher.
Oh, okay. Well, I could see where you could get there, but no.
Yeah.
I don't know how much of this is actually an urban legend, but supposedly everyone wanted this show when it was being pitched. And there was like a bidding war over who was going to get it. And when it ended up on, I think it ended up on USA, right? Was where it was.
USA.
They weren't doing a lot of, or really any reality fare at that time. So those of us who are reality producers, not on USA, mostly because they didn't offer that kind of programming, definitely raised an eyebrow about, oh, here's someone else getting into the game, blah, blah, blah. And I think when we all saw, I distinctly remember seeing the first ad for this, and I truly thought that it was a joke. I thought it was a parody reality show and that I had been misinformed about, oh, it's a family with a lot of kids and they're in real estate. And then once I saw Todd Chrisley in the trailer, I thought, oh, this is, of course, like how perfect. He's in real estate. They're all blonde. They look like the family in Steel Magnolias where she wins the cream cheese pageant or whatever. Like that family, Drum's cousins, whoever they are. You know where they have the party where Shelby tells everyone she's pregnant. They're at their Christmas party, that perfect family. I thought it was a spoof on them.
Yes.
I thought it was a spoof on those people. It wasn't until a short time later when I just thought there's absolutely no way that this homosexual man is the patriarch of this family with 5 children.
Yeah.
And then it was just, he's not a homosexual. And I don't know. I felt like how my grandmother felt when she was in love with Richard Simmons, I guess. Like, I was just like, it's not real. Like, what are you people talking about? Like, this is what's wrong with you? And then it went for years. That show was on for years.
I think it being the only show really as the only reality show on Lifetime up until very recently when they have like Love Island and stuff. Isn't that on USA? Am I wrong?
No, USA. No.
Temptation Island.
Temptation Island.
That's a show that I cover as well.
Yes. Yeah.
Because sure.
Yeah. I'm sure. No, I feel like it's right up your alley.
It's right up my alley, Temptation Island.
Like up until then, like it was the only reality show on USA. So I feel like it kind of had its longevity mainly because there wasn't anything else like beating it in its own rate. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like they had their one reality show and it did well. So they were like, okay, let's just keep it rather than like, oh, here's this newer one that's way better than it. Like, let's can this show. So they kind of, by being like an anomaly on their network, kind of, I feel like ran for way longer than a show like this would nowadays.
I think that the reason it was so popular is because it's sort of like what we say sometimes about the Plaths on Plathville, just good, clean fun. Like there's nobody there's nobody twerking, there's nobody cheating, there's no like baby oil in a hot tub. There's none of that. It's just like, here comes grandma to say a funny line. And then it's interesting because Todd had the 2 children from his first marriage. Then he had the 3 in his second marriage with Julie. And then they adopted the grandchild, Chloe, because his oldest son was unable to care for her because he had a drug problem. So it sort of brings it, it's sort of like the Cosby Show in the way, like every time somebody gets too old, they just bring in like a younger person. Yeah. It's like super cute. Like Rudy, you know?
That's hilarious.
So when they brought in Chloe, because Chloe now is like 10 and Grayson, who was very young when the show started, is now 17. And now Savannah has to take care of Chloe and Grayson, her siblings.
Yeah.
Because her parents are in jail.
Now, before this House of Cards came tumbling down, this was like, these people were poised in a way to be some sort of Southern Kardashian empire. I mean, there were a lot of projects in the works with Todd and Julie and their kids when everything went down. He was developing a talk show. She had like, I think it was a web series. Let me look at Wikipedia. There was yes, the USA Network's website launched What's Cooking with Julie Christie. It was a 10-episode web series.
Yeah.
Some of the kids were going to star in something called Growing Up Chrisley. There was a dating show that greenlit called Love Limo, which was going to be hosted by Todd Chrisley. And if I do recall, they did put his ass in the red carpet in the pre-shows on for a couple of award show, pre-show red carpets. And I remember thinking to myself, that he wasn't very good at these things because he was almost holding back from being too bitchy. And in my head, he doesn't want to be as gay as the other out gay people on the panel who are being bitchy. Now, obviously, Joan Rivers was already deceased before they let this guy join, because if he was on a panel with her, she would have ripped him to absolute shreds. There's no way she would have let him get away with being closeted on during Fashion Police. She just wouldn't have allowed it.
I'd like to say something about the gay man part.
Go for it.
Okay, obviously I'm not a gay man, but Kathy Griffin had a joke a long time ago that was very funny. And she talked about, going to play casinos and things in Mississippi, like as with her stand-up. And these couples would come up. And the girl would be like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited to see you. Let me get your autograph. And then she's like, and here's my husband. He'd be like, hey. And she was like, she came up with something like, is he gay or is he Southern?
Yeah.
Right? Because some Southern men,
which it is very,
are just flamboyant that way.
Yes.
And I don't know. As far as Todd Chrisley goes, anything, when anybody ever asked him about it, he was like, I think it's great that you think I'm gay. I think it's great that you think men and women are after me. I think it's great. Now, he did have sex with a woman at least 5 times, because he does have 5
We know this. We do know that.
Correct.
And, one of the things in one of all the lawsuits of the tax evasion and all that, one of the problems was with an attorney or an accountant or somebody he had hired who was saying that they were in a sexual relationship. And then Todd sued him for defamation. But I mean, with all these lawsuits, who can keep up? Yeah. But there is one man that has come forward. One man.
Yeah. And I think too, it wasn't just because it is there are a lot of Southern men that just are very flamboyant or kind of, as they would say, light in the loafers or things like that. Just a little, it's part of the accent. But then on top of it, it's the bedazzled car. It's all of the,
you
know what I mean? It's all of the shirts.
Yes.
It's all of it's Liberace. I think he didn't help himself at all in any regard when it came to anything, because every single time it was the most over the top with feathers and boas and crystals. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right. I think all of it together. But you are right. No, you are right. And it's not just because he has that accent that we're he's gay, but it didn't help that he was and also, not for nothing, it was good, clean fun, but he was an absolute fucking maniac on that show. I remember the one episode that sticks out in my mind is the son gets a tattoo, I think. And he's like, oh, no son of mine's getting a tattoo. And he brings him back to the like tattoo parlor to get it like lasered off like immediately. And the son's like, ow, ow. Like it was like torture. And the dad was like, like, yeah, and you will get that taken off right now. Like it was, I just remember being like, this man is an absolute maniac.
I think that's all fake because they won't do that. You have to have it for at least a year. So that's why, because it was so fake, I was so annoyed by it.
Yeah. That's true.
I was so annoyed by it. And listen, he's in prison now. And so this could be a time for him to explore those options if he was interested.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah. He could come out straighter than ever.
No.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine if he comes out and he is just like, not just ripped, but like bulked up, like the way that Zac Efron is in this wrestling movie, where he just comes out, you're like, who the fuck is that? No, it can't be. Wouldn't that be hilarious?
Yeah, it's like a barbed wire tattoo.
Well, I remember.
What if he gets one on his face?
Yeah, like it's truly
like a Mike Tyson tattoo. To Mary Payne's point, I remember watching it and thinking, you know, as someone who at that point had worked in reality for a very long time and had gotten, you know, notes from any number of networks talking about authenticity and things are too set up and we don't want this. And we were always like, you know, that's sort of the great challenge as a reality producer, is that you do have to have a structured element. You do have to have call times. You need to know when people are arriving. So certain things do have to be set up. There must be a structure. You're always pushing up against, this looks too structured, it looks too set up. On that show, that was the first time when I had seen, USA is a big network. It's a big vanilla, well-attended network with a lot of SVU reruns and a lot of other like dramatic originals that are very popular when you look at the weekend ratings, especially around that time. And so I just instantly thought, this is where reality's going. Like it was so obviously not reality. And I don't know who produced the show, and I hope they don't not ever hire me or whatever I'm trying to say, but it appeared to be semi-produced. More than anything that I had certainly worked on up until that point, or since that point, for that matter.
Yes.
And I really thought that that's where it was going. And there were many shows around that time. I think there are less now, but there was sort of a wave of these semi-produced family productions that were making a lot of headway. And that was one of them, because that show looked expensive. I don't know what the budget was, but it looked like a much more streamlined reality show. Like visually, it was almost like a Bravo quality reality show. Everyone was beautiful. The house was beautiful. You know, the only problem is that the storylines were perfect and they ended like they do at the end of a sitcom. It was always a bit of a button, like you're saying, like lasering off a tattoo that was just put on. It's like, oh, come on now. Come on. And it was like that. And was an like instant
the
hit.
Kardashians.
Yeah, absolutely. Was an instant hit. So really sort of the Kardashians crawled so the Chrisleys could run, right? Because the Kardashians must predate that. Yeah, because they were around. Oh, for sure. Because Kim got married in like 2010 or 2011 to the second guy.
Yeah, correct.
Yes. I remember that wedding.
Chris Humphries.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
But that show was something. Like it wasn't just a flash in the pan. It was a potential moneymaker that had the potential to make a lot more money with spinoffs had they not gone to jail. Just from a business perspective, it really is a very wasted opportunity. Any big, gorgeous family is a wasted opportunity if you can't make it work in reality.
It turned into like, it's that perfect thing of like this kind of person with a lot of money. Like the Kardashians was like this semi-famous LA family because of the OJ trial with money. Like you have like Shaws of Sunset. You have this, like not so much Shaws, like the Bravo show's not as much, but like this kind of family dynamic situation, but with a lot of money. And it's this race of person or this ethnic background of person or this kind of wherever, or they live in this special place. Like it's a wash, rinse, repeat, but yet they're always so good because it's always like very nouveau riche. It's very like they wear a lot of labels. They have the biggest house in the neighborhood and it's bigger than all the other McMansions. And they're the most over the top of all of the
lots
McMansions.
Lots of beige interiors. Beige and whatchamacallit, shabby chic. Remember that? It's just everywhere. Like a lot of beige and rustic and
Yeah. And that always works for some reason because we love watching it because it's just like, look at these lunatics. Like, and you know someone that's like that. Like, wherever you're from, like, there is that family that like maxes out their credit cards to make it look like they have a lot of money and wear a lot of labels and like be really just very new money, like flashy, right? So it's like so relatable in a way.
Sure. I think the reason so many people were bidding on the show and what made it so appealing for so many years was that he is funny. He is funny and charming and telegenic. And it was almost like the sassy gay character in every sitcom that you loved, or the sassy gay uncle in your family who takes a second seat to your dad and mom. Someone gave that guy his own show, but he was the dad. And he wasn't gay and he was just unfiltered. And he was your sassy Southern aunt, but who looked and had the same delivery as Hollywood Square's Paul Lynde, pretty much. I mean, that's who this guy was, really.
That's perfect. Paul Lynde.
He always reminded me of him.
That's spot on. It's great.
You were going to say, Mary Payne, you were going to say, what about Paul Lynde?
What I was just going to say about the family, you know, I grew up and I knew a family that my whole life I was like, oh my gosh, these are like the richest people ever. I always compared, like they have 5 drivers in their house, but they have 10 cars. Like why so many cars? I just couldn't get my head around it. They were so rich. Now, when I come to find out later as an adult that at some point they went totally bankrupt. The dad had been like stealing money from his company for years. And these people were my friends. And I didn't find it out till I was an adult that that's why they moved. You know, I was like, I wonder why they moved. They had that big house. Come to find out later that the dad had done some shit. And it's like sad. It's sad because the kids,
Does that lead us into talking about the Chrisleys' troubles that they're in now? Should we get, like, is there anything else we need to say about the show before we get to present day them?
Nah, this show is stupid.
Yeah. So what happens? We find out that they're embezzling money. Like, why did they go to jail?
Tax evasion, obstruction of justice, defrauding banks, and wire fraud.
Oh, God.
All the
That's
things.
like the Holy Trinity. That's like
all of it.
Dear God.
Yeah. They did all the things.
Yeah. And that's how you get, but not for nothing. It's like, it's that same family in every town that does that thing and they buy the cars and they get the house and they do the this and they get the that. And it's always the same thing. They're always borrowing and stealing from God knows where and then crossing wires and doing whatever, you know, doing sleight of hand to like always get the one up. And they always instead of putting it in the bank, they always are like buying a car or leasing a house or doing you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally. Yeah. He's 12 years in Florida prison. She's 7 years in a Kentucky prison. They are due to pay back $17 million. This last week or like a couple of weeks ago, a judge ruled for them in a case that they put against somebody in Georgia that they were targeted for this sting or whatever. So they got $1 million back, but they're still $16 million in the hole. Their accountant is serving 3 years. And just recently it was announced that their sentences are being reduced. So Todd will be out in 2033 instead of 35.
God.
And she'll be out in 28 instead of 30. This is for good behavior. And if they keep up with the good behavior, they might get it knocked down a little bit further. But I mean, he's in prison for 10 years and she's in for 5.
How old is he? And do we know how old and how old will he be when he gets out?
I don't know his age. I feel like he's my age. He's in his mid-50s.
He's 54 years old.
He's my age. Yep.
All right.
And his wife is 51.
Okay.
Julie.
I mean, that's bad. To get out at 64.
Yeah.
Like, that's rough.
Yeah.
He's missing his grandkids. He's missing his kids.
I'm not going to lie. I forgot what he looked like. I really was picturing it in my mind, but wow. The work that he's had done as well. Wow.
It's just, I can't even do it with my face.
Like yowza, as they say.
He talked about on that first episode how much he loved Botox. He just loves Botox.
You can tell.
My face. Yeah.
You can tell. You know what? At a certain point, if you have no wrinkle, like if your forehead is too smooth at a certain age, it looks bad. Like it looks worse than if you had some wrinkles. Don't you think?
But
Am I wrong?
I think he has filler all in his face too. Everything is all puffed up.
Oh, he's filled to the brim. What do you like?
What's he going to do in prison?
The cup runneth over. It's like
go back to regular face in prison.
Oh my God, you're right. What's going to happen? He's going to come out looking like the Crypt Keeper at the end of this thing.
Gray hair, I bet.
Didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
You're laughing.
Sad.
Wow,
Sad.
that's bad. Like that is bad.
I know. I feel bad for the kids. I really do. And do you guys follow this fight that he had with his oldest daughter, Lindsay?
Yeah. What was it? Like she was trying to turn him in and then he was mad and then he tried to, what was it? It was like, I remember reading about it that the daughter was like, my dad is a criminal. Like, fuck him. Right? Am I wrong?
You're right and you're wrong because there was a couple of things. So first she got a lawyer and like went on TV and got a law, like on the, Fox 5 local news or whatever.
Yeah.
Went on TV and said that her dad and her brother Chase had come to her with like a sex video that they had of her.
Yes.
And tried to blackmail her into being on their side with all the tax evasion stuff. And then they also said they had a sex tape of her and like two guys that were on like the Bachelor series. She's just making sex tapes all over the place and leaving them around for people to find.
My God.
Yes.
Do we think that he really do we think that was real or he just said that?
Yeah, probably.
Do you think it was real? Oh my God.
Yeah, sure. But she likes him now. She said she's fine with him now because they're in prison.
Oh my God. I forgot that they truly exploited their child. Like exploited their children with a sex tape, being like, we will release this unless you testify for me. Like, that's really bad.
No, they were bitten. These people were bitten. It's like knowing from Mary Payne that because I did not know that this family had declared bankruptcy before going on television. That was already a recipe. And to be honest with you, what I know in my 30 years of being a television producer is that the background checks for these people, how did this even happen? How did they even give them a television show? Because I'm telling you, you can't headline a show like that without a full credit check. I mean, I worked on shows where people just won't appear because we're doing background checks. We're doing credit checks in some cases because that's sometimes the only way you can identify a certain flavor of criminal activity, and people won't do it. People back out because of that. There are certain shows you can't even work on, and this is the truth, and they will remain nameless, but you can't be a producer on certain shows without submitting to a full background and credit check, because they need to make sure if you're, for example, coming into contact with children, that you have no, any serious crimes, either violent or financial or anything like that. So it's pretty miraculous to me that he'd already filed for bankruptcy and they're just going to hand him a couple of $1 million and think it's okay. And like I said, I mean, I'm looking at other articles online too. They didn't struggle to sell Chrisley Knows Best. They had people clamoring for it. So everyone knew that there were red flags and they were just bit. Like they just needed to keep staying famous, selling their children. He's still, by the way, now is like he's now fashioning himself as an advocate for prison reform and calls into places like News Nation to talk about the unsafe food at the federal prison where he's at in Florida and all this other shit. He's like, he can't stop. You can't stop. He's like Joe Exotic. No. I mean, it really is. You get one little ounce and you just can't. Like, you have to keep eating and eating until you're so famous you explode. He's one of those queens. He really is.
And he's one of those people that like desperately, he really is one of those people that like, he wants to just be famous. Like he doesn't matter what for or how or why or when. He just wants to be in the public eye for being an absolute monster or a nice person or the savior of the world or a preacher. Cause maybe he was a or a preacher or whatever, whatever, you know what I mean? Like truly whatever he wants to be, he'll be a preacher. Give it 2 years. He's going to be preaching the word of the Lord to all the people in the prison and be like, I am anointed by Christ. I'm surprised he hasn't gone there yet, honestly. Like, truly.
Okay, well, let's circle back in about 5 years and
Yeah,
see about his prison ministry that
I'm
he
sure
started.
2 months. I'm sure in 2 months you're going to be texting. I'm going to be sending you an email of like this. I got this as a Google alert. Like, here you go.
Sure.
I told you he was a preacher, Mary Payne.
There's still time.
There's still time. I mean, that's hard. I'm not going to lie to you. I forgot about the sex tape part of it. That's bad.
It's
Like,
very bad. That's his kid.
That's
very bad.
Really bad.
It's gross. Yeah.
But does he deny any of that? Like, does he say any of that stuff about the sex tape is not true, or does he cop to it?
Oh, I think he said it wasn't true, but it was like 2 different occasions where he was trying to like blackmail his own daughter. But yeah, I definitely think he said it wasn't true, but he definitely found some sex tapes and was trying to blackmail his daughter. Yeah.
Why would she make it up if it wasn't? Like, why would she say that? Why would she come forward to make that lie? There's no reason.
Why?
Yeah.
I don't
To admit
know.
she had sex tapes with lots of people that weren't her husband.
Yeah.
My general impression, though, and if I'm wrong, apologies, I guess, but that the older children also seemed a little kooky to me. They seemed a little, not touched by the bug, but or in on it, or just wanting to be a part of it or adjacent to it, and maybe not, no one deserves to be violated and have their sex tape put anywhere against their will, particularly by their own father. But they did seem to be sort of as addicted to it, some of the older kids, as Todd and Julie were for some time as well.
So Lindsay was barely on the show. So she was on it, but not a lot, because she was sister from another brother from another mother. She was from another family. We mostly saw Chase and Savannah and Grayson, and then eventually Chloe. But Chase seemed like they always made him out to be like the dumb one, right? He's the stupid one. And then Savannah was the pageant princess. But Chase now, he is 27 now. Savannah is 26, and she has a podcast and, does modeling or something, and has had a string of high profile boyfriends. But she is raising her brother, who's 17, and her, I guess her niece, who's 10. Like,
yeah,
so
because
that's not fun.
Yeah, because the parents are gone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, now I feel terrible.
That's who got custody of those 2 kids. No,
Now
you
I
shouldn't
feel
feel terrible. They should feel terrible.
Don't
That's
take
what
it
they
out.
did.
I want the world to know how cold-hearted I am. However,
You're a monster.
I do.
They already know,
I am
Dominic. Don't worry.
a monstrous bastard. But yeah, that is terrible. They really did. They screwed up everyone's lives. There's no everyone around them. There's no doubt.
Yeah. Yeah. Agree. I think it all comes from the head of the snake, and the snake is Todd.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
I feel like Chris is,
what
is,
to do
is
about these
drifting
Chrisleys
into
is-
like, are they fixable mode? I can tell by the look on your face. The sex tape daughter thing has thrown
No,
you.
it's hard.
It's definitely thrown you.
It's hard because there's things where like we won't touch certain people because we're like, this isn't funny anymore. Like, we can't make this funny of like the things that they've done that are bad. And like,
Yeah.
the daughter sex tape thing, I completely did forget that that's what it was. And that's like terrible, but I can still at least be like, this is crazy that
Right.
this would happen, but it's right. It's on the line and it's basically over it, but we have to move forward.
Okay. I'm ready.
Okay. Dominic, anything you need to say before we start pitching?
I'm ready to fix them. I think this discussion and this information from Mary Payne has actually changed my pitch several times, but I am confident in what it should be.
So Mary Payne, you are going to listen to 2 pitches from 2 unhinged men. You are going to decide which of the pitches you think that Todd Chrisley and the family should follow, basically, and
Okay.
which one is the winning pitch.
Okay.
I always go first, so I will go first again.
Okay.
Todd Chrisley. I mean, what do you even do? This is a hard one. Okay. Although you're a terrible person, although you have blackmailed your daughter with her own sex tape, which is terrible, you want to be famous and you want to be on TV. And it's undeniable how much you've been caught in this, and that you, regardless of if you think that you're going to say that you're innocent, like no one believes that you're innocent at all. And it's the proof is in the pudding, as Mary Payne has so deftly told us, that like you already did bankruptcy once to get out of millions of dollars of debt. So like you're caught red-handed. I think he should come on an ABC News special a la The Housewife and the Hustler, part 2 and 1, or a New York Times Presents a la Britney Spears. But I almost think it needs to be like a Housewife and the Hustler, or what was the one about like Lala? It was like the Randall and the Vanderpump or something. Like that title was so bad. But
the Randall Scandal?
Yeah, that was like the Randall and the Scandal. It was like, it was terrible title. Okay, yeah. But like, and I don't know if I know what it, like Chrisley and the Bankruptcy or something. It can have a terrible title as well. But it really, I think he and the wife and the kids and everyone involved should just do an ABC News special explaining everything. And that to me gets them back in the zeitgeist and back in the world. And that, by having that like story out there but in their own words, gets them generated again, because the minute he comes out of prison or even in prison wants to do TV or be something, and like him being a preacher in jail, although I think is hilarious, isn't going to get him back into fame. They need to just now exploit their own problem and make that their new reality show. Like if Gypsy Rose can do her thing from prison as she's getting out, like so can he. Know what I mean?
God, yeah.
Like they can do all kinds of prison documentary things in prison. Like, he needs to now go full force into like, I'm a criminal and here's why, and I'm going to tell you everything.
Right.
And that's my pitch.
Okay, I'll take that under consideration.
Thank you.
Right. Michael, Todd, Louise, Chrisley. You are a disaster. You are a tornado. You are a huge personality, and you are also a life ruiner. What the hell are we supposed to do with you? So the redemption is going to have to be seen. It's going to have to be proven. You have a lot of apologizing to do, and you have 5 children and a wife. And who knows who else? Who do you have put up in a pied-à-terre somewhere in Roswell or Decatur or one of the other Georgia towns I'm going to pretend to know the names of? But those are 2 of them. Atlanta, there's one. I see a limited series, a limited apology tour called either Chrisley Knows Nothing or Chrisley Knows Better. And we pick it up when he's coming out of jail. And it's almost, I feel like they're half hours because I don't know that he's big enough to warrant hours, but it's almost like he needs to spend time with each kid and sort of hear what their life has been like because of his mistakes. And what you want to see, really, what we're leading up to the finale is him reuniting with Julie, but he needs to reunite with the kids first. And whether or not this is like a road, if it feels like a road movie, like he gets out of jail with a fucking pink duffel bag or whatever he's going to roll up in. But it's got to be like,
Dominic,
whether he gets back with the wife has to be some sort of cliffhanger, but he's got to do right by these kids. And it's really teasable because the one who he was going to blackmail, obviously that's, episode 5 of 6. And then we reconnect with Julie in 6 and then we see what's going to happen. But in the context of like, as we go through each episode, you find out a little bit more about the crimes he committed and what his time was like in jail, etc. But he needs to understand it because he clearly doesn't understand it. All I know about the guy is that he's denied absolutely everything that he's been charged of. And it's like, there's such a mountain of shit against him that no one got this wrong. It's multiple cases. It's multiple crimes.
Yeah.
And it's multiple kids who are now raising their siblings. So this guy has a lot to answer for. And I think it would be a redemption tour with his kids, ending with his wife. And like, is he going to come out of the closet? Will he get back with her? Will she forgive him? Was she the mastermind? Who knows? I mean, maybe we'll get little tidbits that we never heard before, a la like the Natalia Grace limited series. Like these little bombs will just drop the whole time. And that's my pitch. I mean, I know we default to reality and doc stuff a lot here, but I'm not.
We really do.
Because it's what we do. We know it's the answer to everything, and it also pays our bills. So we go to that. But that's what I think. I think like only if he's redemptive though. You know what? Maybe if he's an asshole for half of it, maybe it's actually even better. Like if he comes out in the first 2 episodes and denies it, then maybe when he sees his third kid break down and be like, you ruined my life, maybe he'll change his tune. Maybe it will be an actual journey. What he impressed upon me as he was going into jail, it was like, this queen's not cracking, like even a little bit, like to the bitter end. He was like, this didn't happen. I don't know him.
No.
I don't know her. This is like nothing. And that's been
right. That's rough because that is 2 sides of the same coin. So
we've been doing that a lot lately.
With a serious.
Yeah, we really have.
So you've got like Chris has got kind of a more of a serious take on it where maybe we get we're talking to him in prison and then we're seeing like when he first gets out and wow, there's a new iPad. The world has changed in 10 years. Like he hasn't seen some things have changed. And then Dominick's pitch is more like he's taking a road trip through the South, meeting up with these various children. And then at the end, maybe he goes and picks Julie up at prison but it's the opposite because he's been in longer.
Yeah. Like she should be out. She'll be out by then. I think she'll be out before him.
Yes. Right. So it's sort of like, will we get her talking to the kids saying like, you should give your daddy a chance when he comes out of prison now? Like that kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, sure.
Yeah. Well, I got to say, I like both ideas for 2 reasons. I will pick, but I like Chris's idea because I love like a Housewife and the Hustler. Like I love a kind of a serious spin on it.
Well, mine's centered on like the scandal and like Dominick's is centered around the people. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And Dominick's I don't like the road trip aspect of it. It gives me Gail and Oprah and I don't like that. And I don't want them to get a good edit. So I'm going to pick Chris. I'm going to pick Chris.
Wow.
I don't want them to be likable.
I love that that's the reason. I've never had more respect for a rejection in my life, or at least on this podcast. Congratulations.
Yeah, I don't want anybody to like them at the end.
Oh, God. Thank you. My goodness. 2 good pitches. Like we really have been, sometimes we really lock and we really do like very similar pitches. And then there's times when it is truly apples and oranges and we couldn't be farther from each other. And this one was very fun. There's not many roads to, redemption with him.
Yeah.
There really isn't.
Prison.
Yeah, it's bad.
Prison.
Even so, like people in prison are fascinating.
But once you reminded us about the daughter, I think that that changed my pitch for sure. It's like, I don't want to not see him, but this can't be like, were it not for the daughter, I absolutely would have put him on RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars. I'm not even going to lie. That was my original pitch.
Which is a great, that would have won 100%. If that did, I would fold. I would have just folded.
No, we can't put someone who violated his own daughter on Drag Race. We can't do it.
No, absolutely not. No.
Oh, that was real. That would have won. So I'm sorry that you didn't go with that.
I couldn't. In good conscience.
Mary Payne Gilbert, thank you so much. A scholar. I mean, truly, of the Chrisleys. Sure. Thank you so much for being here. Let us know where people can find you online and also where they can find your podcast.
Well, you can listen to Pink Shade wherever you listen to podcasts. That's the thing that we say now, right? It just sounds like wherever you buy books. Yep. So it's just wherever you listen to podcasts. And it's called Pink Shade. And we have 3 new episodes a week on the public feed. And then usually 1 or 2 on the Pink Shade Prime, which is Patreon and Supercast. And I'm going to be covering Love is Blind over there. That's exciting.
Can't wait.
Very excited about that. And then, of course, if you want to find me on the Instagram, just go to @PinkShadePod.
Dominick, where can people find you?
My website is domentary.com. My socials are @Dominick Pupa or @FixingFamousPeople, of course. Chris, where can we find you?
You guys can find me at the Chris DeRosa. And obviously, you can find the show at Fixing Famous People. You can find the Patreon at patreon.com/FixingFamousPeople. I wish you both well. And as always, where's Shelley? Goodbye.